Hello, DePauw, and hello, world. Welcome to The Outlook, a show that looks at current and political events happening around the world in ways that educate and involve students here at DePauw. And now, introducing your host, Haley Menendez.
Welcome back to The Outlook. In today's episode, we'll be looking at some catastrophic damages worldwide. Many include floods that have washed away many towns and villages and left many dead or despaired. Let's look at some of these countries that went through the floods or faced the aftermath of natural disasters. Starting off with Pakistan. A third of Pakistan is still underwater. Torrential monsoons rain triggered the most severe flooding in Pakistan's history, washing away villages and leaving around 3.4 million children in need of assistance, at an increase of waterborne diseases, drowning, and malnutrition. As floodwaters slowly recede, the sheer scale of damage was revealed. Hundreds of thousands of homes were damaged, destroyed, and various public facilities, water systems, and schools were also damaged. Next, we have the Philippines. Super Typhoon Nora swept through the Philippines overnight on September 25, 2022, bringing winds up to 160 miles per hour. High winds and heavy rain caused catastrophic flooding, flattening villages and increasing the threat of landslides. Over 80,000 people were evacuated from their homes in the Philippines. Then in Japan, a tropical storm slammed southwestern Japan with a fierce rainfall and winds Monday, September 19th, injuring dozens of people. Residential streets were flooded with muddy water from rivers, and swaths of home lost power after Typhoon Namaldo made landfall in Quezon region Sunday, September 18th, and then weakened to a tropical storm. From typhoon to monsoon and even hurricanes, countries faced the wrath of Mother Nature. Over on the western side of the hemisphere, we saw multiple countries getting hit by hurricanes and floods. Starting off with Puerto Rico, which still has not fully recovered from Hurricane Maria. Nevertheless, Hurricane Fiona left dozens of families stranded across Puerto Rico after smashing roads and bridges, with authorities still trying to reach people 4 days after the storm smacked the U.S. territory, causing historical flooding. One main difference between Hurricane Fiona and Maria is Fiona unleashed landslides on top of its destruction. Fiona sparked its island-wide blackout when it hit Puerto Rico's southwest region, which was already still trying to recover from a series of strong earthquakes in recent years. But Hurricane Fiona didn't stop there. She then made her way all the way up to Canada. Fiona previously, as stated, wreaked havoc on Puerto Rico as well as the Dominican Republic earlier in October, with many still left without power or running water. As Fiona died off, the tropical storm Ian grew stronger, making its way towards Cuba, the Caribbean, and then Florida. Once in the Gulf of Mexico, Ian was bumped to a Category 5, being one of the strongest storms to hit Florida. Hurricane Ian made landfall near Cayo Costa, Florida, as a major Category 4 storm. It was predicted to have storm surges at least 12 feet tall, but if you thought that was all for Florida residents, think again. The governor and other state officials warned Wednesday, October 12th, that as Ian moved inland, central and northeast Florida residents would see tornadoes, high winds, and flash flooding. I don't know about you, but I am curious as to what's causing so many countries around the world to face these extreme weather conditions. Let's go to Professor Tim Coop to see what he has to say. Hi, my name is Haley Menendez, and I'm here with
Tim Cope, professor of geology and environmental geoscience. I teach weather and climate, I teach a number of geology courses, and I teach our GIS course.
Oh, wow. So I have a couple questions for you today.
Okay.
First, starting off with, could you explain why some countries are facing record-breaking floods while other neighboring countries are facing these droughts?
Yeah, well, it's climate change. Global warming, to be more specific, all the carbon dioxide, excess carbon dioxide in our atmosphere, traps a lot of heat in the atmosphere, and warming oceans and warming temperatures in the atmosphere promote evaporation, which then promotes more moist air, which will promote wetter, more destructive storms. Warmer temperatures also provide more heat to fuel things like hurricanes.
Mm-hmm.
Melting ice also with warming temperatures produces, it really enhances flooding in places like Pakistan which just experienced a tremendous flood last month. About a third of the country was underwater, and quite a bit of it is still. So, imagine an area larger than Indiana that's been completely inundated by floods. Pretty devastating.
Right.
And drier areas will get drier as well due to climate change. So you can think of global warming is often referred to as a threat multiplier. So if you're in an area that's threatened by arid conditions or conditions that are too hot, it's going to tend to multiply that and make it worse. Also, if you're threatened by storms, those storms are going to get stronger as well. And so any aspect of your climate that more energy will fuel to make worse is going to get worse.
Okay, so the next question I have for you. So I heard that it is very uncommon for a hurricane to hit Canada. Is this true?
Yes and no. I mean, so Hurricane Ian took a track that went into the Gulf of Mexico, and like all North Atlantic hurricanes, it starts sort of in the eastern part of the Atlantic, traverses the Atlantic. This one got into the Gulf of Mexico and then took a hard right and went up through Florida, and then up the eastern seaboard. And that's pretty common. But because this was such an energetic hurricane and it was traveling over such warm water, and it didn't make landfall really again all the way up the Atlantic, it was able to make it all the way to Canada. Canada's, like all of the eastern seaboard, is in the Atlantic hurricane track. And it's just a simple matter of whether it veers a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right as it's traveling, whether it's going to make it that far, and how much energy it has.
Right. Yeah, I was reading an article and it was saying that like areas up there, because the water is a little bit colder, that it's kind of uncommon for hurricanes to hit, and that's why I was like, really interesting to ask.
Yeah, it is. It is uncommon. But when I say yes and no, it's like, yes, it doesn't happen that frequently, but hurricanes don't strike any one place all that frequently. So this is just another one of those places where it would steer.
Exactly. Okay, so my last and final question would be, could you explain why so many countries around the world are facing these natural disasters? Is it like the time period that we're in right now, or the season?
Well, so right now, we're in hurricane season. It's nearing the end of hurricane season. It may surprise you to know that we've actually had a lot fewer hurricanes this year than we commonly do. And if you just look at the hurricane names, they start with A, and they work their way up. So Ian was I, and this time last year I think we were much higher in the alphabet than we are now. So we've had fewer hurricanes, and it's nearing the end of the season. So you can expect hurricanes late summer, early fall, and so those are seasonal. You're not going to get hurricanes in the winter or in the spring as much, because you need that warm water in the northern hemisphere to fuel them. So that's a seasonality with hurricanes. In Pakistan, the floods in Pakistan are also a summer phenomenon, because that was the monsoon.
Yep.
And so in the northern hemisphere, what happens is there's a band of heavy rainfall that's approximately sitting on the equator. And during the summer, the northern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun a little bit, and so that band of heavy rainfall moves north and into India and Pakistan. And you're always going to get heavy rains associated with the monsoon. They were just particularly intense this year, again, because of global warming and also because of glacial melt. So when ice is melting, obviously that produces a lot of rainfall, or a lot of runoff as well, and that combines with heavy rainfall to make the floods especially strong.
So is that also included in typhoons as well?
Yes, typhoons are just Pacific hurricanes. So they do basically the same thing as North Atlantic hurricanes. They start sort of more towards the eastern part of the basin, and then they head west across the ocean basin until they make landfall somewhere in Asia.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much. I
Sure.
want to thank you for interviewing and giving your knowledge.
Well, sure. Thanks for asking me. I had fun.
Thank you, Professor. That was very insightful. But I also want to turn it over to you, DePauw students, to see what you know about these previous natural disasters worldwide.
First things first, what's your name?
Elisha Madasu.
All right, nice to meet you. All right, first question is, where are you from?
So I am from Brooklyn, New York, but I'm also a student here at DePauw University.
Okay. First things first, what's your name?
Vanya,
Okay. Second question, where are you from?
South Carolina.
First question is, what's your name?
Hi, my name is Tomo.
Okay, my name is Ross, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Ross.
First question is, where are you from?
I'm from Japan.
First question is, what's your name?
Jun Hong. Jun.
All right, my name is Ross, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And first actual question is, where are you from?
I'm from South Korea.
Hey, do you know what natural disasters may happen in that area of South Carolina?
Mostly hurricanes, and we've had some occasional earthquakes.
Okay, do you know like what season like these events normally happen during? Or like how frequent?
I think hurricane season's every year, like end of summer, early fall, and then earthquakes. I don't know if they have a season. Sometimes the earth gets rowdy.
It just gets rowdy. And do you know like how frequent they may occur? Like what season like some may occur? Like just like the pattern maybe?
So in Japan, well, earthquakes occur semi-regularly. And also the typhoons often hit Japan, and those occur from spring to basically the autumn. And they're more frequent and more powerful during the summer, and that's when they really pose an issue.
Okay, and do you know like what season they may occur or how frequent or like what's the pattern like that they occur?
Usually it happens in summer, and like last time, I think this year it was like pretty severe, and like many of the houses were like getting flooded, even in Seoul. So I think some people like suffered a lot in that season, I think.
And then the final question is, do you know like what help people may be able to receive or what resources that may be available for people?
Sometimes there's government aid, but I feel like you have to they have to decide whether they're going to apply that for the particular natural disaster. But other than that, I'm not sure. I mean, like if you don't have insurance, I feel like you don't really have that much assistance.
All right, and that's all we got. Thank you for your time. Also, do you know what The Outlook is?
Gotta look on what?
The Outlook is a show on D3 TV, and it just talks about like global events and just updates you on like what happens around the world. So you should definitely check it out. It's on Instagram, it's on YouTube, it's on Facebook, it's on another platform that I may be forgetting. But yeah, check it out. Interviewed by me, hosted by Haley Menendez, and we just trying to help people.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you again, Professor Coop, and thank you all for tuning in. That is all we have for you today. I'm Haley Menendez.
Please tune in and join us next Monday at 7 p.m. Have a great night. This is The Outlook.